Joe Walsh here. There are reports that Trump's not going to trade the wall for DACA. You may not understand that, but I'll explain it when Freedom returns at 5.
So we got a few Harper Lee fans out there. We're asking for alternative and better book titles for Hillary Clinton's book. Ann B. Davis's Bowling Ball, To Mock a Killing Bird, a Basket Full of Deplorables. All right. And then alternatively, we have from 312, To Shrill a Cackling Bird. That's not bad. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
All right. It's time to talk tax policy, Amy. We need tax reform in this country. You need tax reform. You need to keep more of what you earn.
That's what I'd like to do, Dan. That's the point.
To help you do that, we're pleased to be joined by the Sultan of Supply-Side Economics. He is Wall Street Journal columnist, CNN senior economist, former Trump advisor, Heritage Foundation economist. More titles than you can shake a stick at. He's Steve Moore. Steve, thanks for joining us. Where are we on tax reform?
Great question. Where are we? By the way, thank you for introducing me as the tax man. Let's see. I think that there's about a 50-50 chance the Republicans are going to get their act together and get this done. The reason I was a little late for the show this morning, I met with a bunch of the House Republicans this morning to get a kind of feel of their temperature on this and give them some advice. And my advice was go, go, go. What's taking so long?
And how was that? What's
enough about them? What about you? I mean, what did they say?
What did they say to you? Yeah.
Well, I think that, look, the House I don't think is going to be, they're going to get something through the House. It'll be a good tax cut. I think it comes down to exactly what happened in the Senate on Obamacare. How do you get the 50 votes? Now, yesterday, you guys heard that Donald Trump had dinner with 3 Democratic senators, Joe Manchin, Donnelly of Indiana, and Heidi Heitkamp of North Dakota.
And you were disguised as the waiter, right? So you could overhear what was being said.
Were you there? Were you behind the phone?
No, I was not there. But I think all 3 of those are potentially gettable. But I don't think they're going to get us over the hump. That's the problem. I don't think they're going to. Any of those 3 will get us the 50th vote we need. In other words, once we get the 50, they might, provide, the votes to get to 53. But, the heavy lift of getting to 50 is tough. And by the way, John McCain is sick. He's in the hospital. We don't know what kind of, when he'll be back. So that leaves us with effectively 51 senators for now. And so it's tough. But look, the Republicans, as Bob Novak, the great columnist from the Chicago Sun-Times for decades, one of the greatest political reporters of ever, used to say, and I told the Republicans this morning at their policy morning breakfast, I said, the only reason God put Republicans on this earth is to cut taxes. If they can't get this done, I do think they're going to lose the House and the Senate in 2018. I think it's going to be a bloodbath because conservatives are going to say, what good are these people? They can't get Obamacare repealed. They can't get the wall built. They can't get the tax cut done. These are all central promises that Republicans made. So I do think for policy and political reasons, it's really imperative that they get this done, get that corporate rate down, get the repatriation, get something for families. And by the way, the polling is pretty good on this. The polling, I saw a poll the other day, 56% of Americans agree with Trump that a tax cut would be good for the economy. If they can sell that message, they're going to win.
I heard something great this morning that the median household income is up 3.2%.
Yep. That was good news, really good news. But, the problem is, if you look over the last 15 years,
catching up,
the gain in median family income is barely positive. It's slightly above water. So you still have a problem that, since 2000, there's been very little income gains for the majority of families. And that is the problem, is that wages and salaries have not been rising. Now, you're right. That was good news that we saw a real increase last year. But, that comes after 6 years of declining family income. So there's still a lot of ground to be made up.
Well, and so doesn't that speak to the need to sell equally? There's a lot of emphasis on our confiscatory corporate tax rate, and that's obviously a legitimate issue, and it needs to be lowered at least to something approaching the international average. But doesn't the sales pitch need to include as much emphasis on reducing the marginal rates for middle income families, so you have the kind of the Main Street on board, frankly?
Yeah, but I would add to that, look, the plan that I think is going to pass will have a doubling of the standard deduction. So the average middle-class family will get about a $2,000 tax cut under the Trump plan. But what's more important, Dan, is not just cutting the corporate tax, because, as you said, it's just an insane system. Nobody can defend United States having the highest tax rate in the world. I was in Ireland last year, and every company I saw in Dublin, every other company was an American company that had moved to Ireland because they're at 12.5%, and we're at 35%. So you save 2/3 on your taxes by moving to Dublin. That doesn't work. But you also have to cut the taxes for small businessmen and women. There's 27 million small businesses in this country, and 2/3 of Americans are employed by those companies, not by the big corporations like GE and Apple. So, and I think maybe I'm wrong about this, Dan and Amy, but I think the American people can connect the dots. When you have healthy companies, you have healthy jobs. As my old boss Dick Armey used to say, liberals love jobs, but they hate employers, and you can't have one without the other.
But this comes back to the sales pitch and not being mau-maued by the left and their class envy politics, being proactively aggressive and unified in selling the deal to the American people on both chambers, right?
Wait, did you say Republicans and unified?
Well, yes, right, more or less.
That's a tough thing. I mean, you've learned that in Illinois. It's tough here in Washington, D.C. to get the Republicans unified. I would say that they're much more unified on this than they were on health care. They could hardly have been less unified than they were on health care. So I think that when I talk to the Republican senators and House members, they almost all get it that they've got to get this done. Now, the problem is, even if 90% agree with that, that's not good enough in the Senate. You got to get 99%, right? You got to get virtually every senator, with the exception of one, because the Democrats, Chuck Schumer sent out that letter saying we are not going to cooperate on tax cuts. We're against it. It's against our religion to cut people's taxes. So, and that's different, by the way. We've got a great little ad we're putting out with footage from John F. Kennedy, some of this grainy old film that shows Kennedy saying, that when you cut taxes, you get more revenues, you get more jobs, you get more growth, and it's a wonderful passage from Kennedy. How many Democrats, Dan, believe that today? When you cut taxes, you get more growth and more jobs.
How many Democrats believe that a Catholic could be president, per Di-Fi and Durbin, for that matter?
Good point.
Yes.
Touche. Yeah. How did that ever happen? God, these ideological, these ideologues were Catholics. I mean, my God, the next thing you know, the Pope is going to be running the White House.
Yeah, the next thing you know, the Pope is going to be Catholic, and then we're really in trouble.
Yeah. Well, actually, with this Pope, they probably would want him to be the president because he's a leftist. But John, my hero, by the way, of all time is John Paul II, who I think was one of the great figures of the 20th century, and was the one who brought down the Berlin Wall. So not bad for a Catholic.
No question about it. He is Steve Moore, Wall Street Journal columnist, CNN economist, Heritage Foundation economist. Thanks for the update on tax reform, Steve. Always appreciate it.
Okay, guys. Have a great week.
You too.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot